What is up, YouTube? My Cowboys family here, bringing you guys the latest update on our very own Dallas Cowboys, and of course, as always, thank you so much for joining us here tonight. Take a second to hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, follow us on all social media at MyCowboysFamily, and of course, hop in the Discord, link for that's in the description box down below.
Welcome back, family. We got a new week. Some same old winners possibly here when you look at our boards on our sponsor of the week boards. But hey, we might have some new faces at the running back position. That's tonight's thing. And I know you see McCarthy's face sneaking up there. He might have to look both directions about which running back to go with. I want to know who you guys think we should go with, or who you think would be a good fit for the Cowboys and the Joneses and their money restrictions and all that stuff. We'll talk about that today. With the non-franchise tag situation going on in the NFL with all the running backs, so not just ours. So we'll talk about that and more. But baby, as we get started on a new week here Monday, quickie, I guess it's a chat quickie. It's somewhere in between. Tomorrow we probably will not be live, so we'll give you a double dose on Wednesday. Of course, today though, get your chance to chime in on all Cowboy news, info, and updates. But we have a new week. Same winner, because we got some repeat and three-peating going on here. Our sponsor of the week, back-to-back, like our 90s Cowboys. He's never had a back-to-back with his team, which are the Miami Dolphins, but he's repping that sponsor of the week board. Much love to McLovin, who, as you can see, is also up top there as the Cash App King. Not once, not twice. 3 straight weeks for McLovin. So again, I'm saying it again, much love to the great McLovin, who's taken over 3 out of the last 3 weeks on the Cash App board, and the last 2 weeks as a sponsor of the week. Now, big shout outs to the man Dwayne Broussard, the top dog, because he had a little pre-stream drop of love here.
A $4 holler for a Go Cowboys.
And that gets him. Much love to him. Go Cowboys. Appreciate you, Dwayne. As always, star level member and 73 points on the stream boss.
Yeah,
so
he actually pumped himself up a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. And the gifting championship. Listen, last time we had a champ was last week, basically. 2 weeks ago, I guess. Now, it was JD from DC with 10. But right now, we have 5 versus 5 still going on with JD from DC and the Lunatic in a quadruple overtime here. Whoever hits 6 wins it, and they're 1 away. Skeptical fans has 2 gifted membership, so he's 4 away from winning. And anybody else in the membership, if you gift 6 or more, you will automatically win the gifting crown. And just to add a little context to this, we're going to talk about the star level stuff going on in a minute, and also some of the leaders. But there's a new kind of situation going on when it comes to winning the weekly boards, specifically the sponsor of the week, which is always our biggest one. I just want to make sure as we shout out everybody in the star and over everything level memberships, there's going to be kind of a new little twist to this monthly raffle, which, by the way, it's happening probably in the next couple of days here before the end of February. But baby, let's first shout out the star level and over everything level members.
Of course. Thank you very much, Skeptical Fan, Jason Renfro, Lincoln Kane, Andy Potch, Mary Alvarez, Marissa Sparkle, Dwayne Broussard, and the Lunatic.
And of course, anybody that wants to jump into the over everything level, which is the highest we got here, or the star level, automatically is entered into this monthly jersey raffle. Cowboys Mosh, the sewn and stitched jerseys, a lot to choose from, old school and new players. So that's what we do. We've been doing this for 3 years on this side of things for the star level, and then we opened it up to the over everything since we added a new level up. And now, yes, not this month. Let me just make sure I reiterate that. The one for this month is set already, but I'll give you an example of what it would have been like. McLovin would have had he would have had 2 sponsor of the week wins there this month. He would have had his name twice into this raffle. Now that's going to start a new thing next month. You're the sponsor of the week. You get to be in the raffle as well. And you can add, if every week you're the sponsor of the week, you can add, another raffle entry to up your chances against the every month star level and over everything level members. So that's a way of kind of getting in there if you're not in the membership to get a chance to win one of these jerseys. But of course, if you're in the over everything, I think you get 2 entries. If you're in the star level, you get 1 entry. And if you are the winner every week, every week you're in, or whoever, if you get 4 different winners, you got 4 different names. If you got 1 winner, you got 4 entries. So there's different ways to kind of up your chances. But that's the toughest part of our board there. That's sponsor of the week. So good luck to those that get in there and are it starting this week for the month of March. The winner this week will be added into the raffle next month for March. For the February one, it's going to go down this week. It's just going to be the star and over everything level members, which you just heard their names, by the way. So I just wanted to shout that out there. We kind of jumped the gun a little bit on that, but I wanted to definitely throw out that information for everyone to know. You could also jump into the over everything on your own. You can jump into the to the star level on your own. Also, I want to give shout outs because you're seeing the overall board, Cash App board. There's some leaders, and they're kind of the same right now, baby. McLovin last night after dark, dropping a bunch through the PayPal side of things. SCO971 also dropping through the Cash App, and Smokey through the After Dark Cash App. These three are leading right now, first, second, and third place on the board. McLovin still in first. He's going for a three-peat as a sponsor of the week. Maybe 4 in a row, a whole month as a Cash App King. He's the leader on both those sides of things. Of course, no leader right now in the gifting membership. And Dwayne Broussard, the top dog, who dropped 4 today as well. As Skeptical Fan, who dropped 2 in the thanks. They're also rounding out the top 5 here on our board. So appreciate everybody on all the levels. Can't do this without your love and support. And just one last thing, baby. Just to remind people, there's, of course, the super chat to drop the love here on the channel. You have the thanks button, which Skeptical did earlier today. You have the gifting memberships, which has been a while since we had a gifted membership. And, of course, just jumping in the memberships, new or old, just redoing it every month or jumping in on your own. Navy, blue, silver, star, and over everything. 4 different levels. You can jump in there and join the fun, the perks, and all that good stuff. But there's 4 other ways you can drop the love that actually don't just affect the overall board, but also the Cash App King,
yes,
which right now is McLovin as well. How can you attack that spot?
You have, of course, like Mr. MCF just said, the Cash App, Money's How My Cowboys Family. You have the Venmo at My-Cowboys-Family. The regular PayPal link, and last but not least, of course, the Streamlabs link lets your comment show up on screen just like a super chat.
Damn right. So thank you all. Done it through all these ways, all 8 ways, I guess there's of getting on the board. But let me also give the shout outs, baby. You give the shout outs tonight to those in the chat ready to discuss some Cowboy football plus more. Although today is a real quickie. We're really talking about the Cowboy running situation, running back situation. Baby, who's in the house?
Shout out to Mr. Seabass, of course. And hey, YouTube definitely has its dumb moments. Of course, it picks. It's like a Monday. It's like, I don't want to work today, YouTube said. So, not sure what's going on there. Let me see if the little robot thing is working.
Is it blocking some people's comments?
So, no. We're good.
All right.
There we go. So, try that, Seabass. Hopefully, maybe that works.
Oh, by the way,
let me keep rolling with the shout-outs.
Quick shout-out for me. Jason Renfro dropping a $1 holler
Woo.
in the Cash App. And Go Cowboys. Much love to Jason. Always staying on the boards no matter what. He's around. He's now currently, I think, 6th on the board, kicking off a new week.
Yes, so Chalk Time on 10808, what's up?
Yeah.
I'm into anime. Some anime, not all of it.
This is a half Bruce
Bruce got the toxic juice, what's up? Yeah, Mondays are tapped out, right? Scorpio, what's up? Yeah, well, we count DBZ around here. I guess real shit can come talk real football, right? Asmodeus, salute to you, much love. Chris Davis in the house, of course. A shout out, but another shout out to Mr. Seabass. Rolando Rodriguez from South Texas, much love, lost in translation. We got Matt Batten. We appreciate you being here tonight. Sean Wallace, what's up? Hey, just happened to pop into that, part of our little intro here, of course.
It was warming up a little bit, right, to get everybody in the house. And
Eric Wallace, what's up? We have Ganja Man in the house. Rolling back a little bit more. Who else is here? Let me see. Bruce got the toxic juice, of course. Daniel Berry Sports, much love to you. Mike Aldana in the house. Always same old Stephen Jones, you know it. Thomas Garrett, the superior. Garrett.
Fortunately.
Dwayne Broussard, the top dog himself. Jason Renfro, much love.
Yeah.
Little Dallas Cowboy here. We have Double R. Freedom First, I think he was first. Good for you. And I think that's everyone here so far for now. So back to you.
Let's get it going. NFL news real quick. A media guy, Peter King. We've heard of him since the McCarthy coming on here, and he was kind of following McCarthy in his 1-year hiatus. Well, he's retiring officially, guys. Football Morning in America. He just put it up, the last one, and he said, I'm the luckiest man on earth. It's been real. he's officially retiring. He said, quote, "I'm retiring," but he said, "I'm using an asterisk because I truly don't know what the future holds for me." So who knows? You might see him back around there. But basically been around football for decades. He's a Hall of Fame reporter and storyteller. And, he did a great job throughout the years getting embedded with different football, situations and sports situations. But really, football. So a lot of people are missing him. Cool. He's a good, good reporter, but, time to retire, I guess. Now, a guy who should not be retiring on the other side of the spectrum is Ryan Clark. Now, he was on the outs, guys. He was not re-signed to ESPN, and I thought that was a shame because I thought he was one of their better analysts, one of the few people to actually give credit to on ESPN. But he went on media on social media and kind of was outspoken about his situation there. And after this outspoken kind of negotiation time frame, where he threatened to leave ESPN earlier in the year, he verbally agreed to remain at ESPN and not let his contract expire. His previous contract officially ran out a couple days before the Super Bowl, but the two sides agreed to extend it through the Super Bowl and beyond that. And, Ryan Clark went with I trust you guys. He went on ESPN after he wasn't really it was a handshake. It wasn't really a contract written down yet situation. And he appeared on SportsCenter with Scott Van Pelt. Almost, you can say almost for free in a way, because he didn't have a contract 100% in, but now they have it set up. It's official, so it looks like they made up on both sides. ESPN is expected to announce this new deal very soon, but they declined comment on this. So again, just wanted to bring him up because he's one of the people that actually look at the Cowboys and say, okay, he gives the real deal. They're one of the better analysts. Ryan Clark, the word is he's going to get a new contract that's going to pay him over $2 million annually at ESPN. So congrats to him. He's worth it in the sense of when you compare it to everybody else out there. He's 10 times better than most ESPN analysts, quote unquote, talking heads or whatever it may be. Now, out of the media side, let's get into the player side. Former NFL drafted first rounder. This guy was just arrested on meth charges, and he's had a lot of issues. He was released by the Raiders. You guys, much love to Dwayne Broussard, by the way. I think it was Dwayne Broussard. Skeptical fan brought this up. Ex-Raiders first round pick, cornerback Damon Arnett, and again, he was a guy that the Cowboy fans were like, "Let's go grab him." He was arrested on January 6th at 3:30 a.m. 2024, charged with possession of less than a gram of meth and unlawful carrying of a firearm. So again, this was an unreported arrest back in January 6th, and it was in Richardson, Texas. It was not reported until now, today, when they found out about it. So again, things have not been going well for Damon Arnett in the last couple of years. Former Ohio State Buckeye standout, 19th overall pick in 2020. He played for the Raiders from 2020 to 2021, then got released. Was cut in November after video surfaced of him making death threats, brandishing a firearm on, I think it was on TikTok or Instagram. Yeah. Either way, former Ohio State Buckeye star was then arrested in Vegas in January of 2022 on assault charges, and later on he was pulled over while driving with a suspended license. Now he's got meth and a gun charge in this car there. Not looking good for him, and for those that love him and say, hey, bring him to Dallas. I remember that there was some Cowboy fans saying, let's bring him in. And there was a reason why he wasn't being brought into anybody, any team. He spent time with the Dolphins in 2021 for a little bit, and the Chiefs for a little bit in 2022, but short-lived and gone right away. Former second All-Big Ten performer. Now he's got to add that meth charge and the gun charge to his legal issues he already has. So they said today, his legal counsel said that Damon Arnett, was arrested for possession of methamphetamines and firearms, but they're saying it's incorrect. They're saying that their client at the time of the stop was unable to provide law enforcement with his prescription for lawful medication. And the arrest was predicated on Mr. Arnett being unable to prove that the medication was prescribed. He had been able to do so. They're saying if he had a chance to do that at the time of the stop, there had been no arrest in the first place for either a controlled substance or the firearm. But again, according to his attorneys, his office are working with the law enforcement there to rectify this matter before any charges are brought officially by the district attorney's office. We'll see if there's such a bunch of talking bullshit or if it's actually something real. Either way,
I mean, even
they
I
would
have
have found
to
the
admit,
firearm. So the firearm was still unlawfully being, even though they found it only because of the prescription drug they didn't have a prescription for. They're saying that it's not fair he got caught for the gun because it was on a
They must
on
have
a
found
false
like a
prescription
singular
drug.
pill or
Who
something
knows,
because
yeah.
less than a gram or whatever. Like that's I have to agree with a Scorpio, right? Like a Pioneer saying less than a gram. That's a Clarendon D. They pad the charges in Texas. Pobre vato.
That's true. And poor Arnett, he just had the unlawful firearm on him as well. Of all things, like come on, he should be the last guy to have anything on him. Last time threatening people on social media to kill him, with showing a gun. Now he's got in trouble with. I mean, just so many things. I understand the guy got stuck in a bad situation. You can't have a gun on you. You know what I'm saying? You can't. But I agree that Clarendon D shit, that'd be a real lame excuse for them to arrest him. That's just like, I don't say profiling, but that's like harassing almost to a way. For a fucking Clarendon D. So stupid. Anyways. Moving on, as we're almost out of the NFL news into our Cowboy discussion here about running backs, former NFL quarterback Cam Newton. This actually, I was going to talk about it yesterday, but kind of slipped my mind. Got more information about it today. Cam Newton was involved in a fight with 3 people versus him. Basically, him and these other people were removed from a 7-on-7 football event after being involved in a scuffle. It's on. I don't want to post it on the shorts because they don't like posting, fights and violence on the shorts. But Cam Newton, former NFL quarterback, of course, was involved in a scuffle, in a fight, in a 7-on-7 football game in Atlanta, Georgia on Sunday. This was organized by We Ball Sports, which is an apparel and sports media company, and they bring 15 to 18-year-old, teams together. Football under 15, under 18. In Georgia, Alabama for a competitive tournament. Newton is the founder of the C1N program, which is a program that participated in this event. Yeah. So that's why he was there. The video clips posted all over social media shows a couple, I think it was 3 individuals with top shelf performance. They were first talking shit, one of them, about Cam Newton, that he can't throw a football. That's what we seen today come out. Now, then, of course, we initially had seen the fight going down, which was that guy that talked shit about Cam Newton before the fight went down, and then went looking for trouble, got in a fight with Cam Newton, kind of got his ass handled a little bit. But either way, they approached Newton at the top of a set of stairs and steps underneath the We Ball Sports tent on Sunday afternoon, and Newton was then grabbed. Of course, he shoved back, defending himself. A fight ensued. The two men, really a third one, came in there fighting with Newton in both. Again, both these guys were coaches for the Top Shelf Performance group and formerly coached with Cam Newton, according to a source with knowledge of this 7-on-7 elite football tournament. But the video shows Newton grabbing one of the combatants, dragging them to one side, and then it continues. It gets a close-up. He's like throwing guys around left and right. There's 3 guys all over, and police and security guards did get in there and break up the situation. It was crazy. Either way, in a joint statement to the Athletic, Top Shelf Performance trainers, coaches Stephan and TJ Brown said, quote, "We are deeply concerned about the recent incident involving Cam Newton, and our thoughts are with all parties affected. Violence has no place in our community, and we strongly condemn any form of aggression." But they did also add that they are actively addressing this matter internally. Either way, Cam Newton's representatives, they did not immediately respond to messages Sunday night. When they were reached for comment, the Atlanta Police Department declined to provide any information about the actual situation. But according to Mitchell, which is, again, Top Shelf did beat the Cam Newton group, the C1N, in a heated game, supposedly. Back and forth there. A lot of trash talk between the teams from the under 18 group, which happened on Saturday. Seems like the tensions boiled over on Sunday, yesterday, and then this fight happened. There were 16 teams in each division, with the top under 18 earning $5,000 prize, and the top under 15 team receiving $1,500 first place prize. Over 1,500 people attended this event. But Cam Newton fighting with the other group, with the other team that's playing against his teams. Yeah, one of these crazy situations. What are you going to do? Either way, finally, the last part of the NFL day we've talked about here, we're going to end it with more of the competition committee. Stephen Jones sitting in Let me throw up Stephen Jones here because he is sitting one of the 10 guys or so.
King in the castle, king in the castle.
He is the king of this, one of the kings of the castle when it comes to the competition committee and making the rule changes and things. We talked about the kickoff rule yesterday. We talked about a couple other things related to, to them making something, the hip drop rule. Today, information came out that the NFL appears unlikely to change the rule when it comes to fumbling the ball on the goal line and it goes out the back of the end zone. You guys know that?
So you know that thing that directly happened to us that we experienced live in an action
with
this
CeeDee Lamb tried to stretch over, fumbled the ball over the pylon, went out of bounds and off the side of the end zone, and that goes to the 20-yard line for the other team. And that was a big talk about it being changed this year. People didn't like it. I personally had no problem with it. You just got to be more careful when you're at the goal line. But people don't like it. Fans don't like it. Fumbles that go into the end zone and out of bounds will likely still, though, continue going back to the defense on the 20-yard line for a touchback. That's the word that is coming out from the NFL Competition Committee today. They discussed the rule today. Talks about changing the rule did not generate a lot of traction in today's discussion. And it's been, verified by multiple sources. So it doesn't sound like the out-of-bounds touchback through the end zone, situation, that rule is going to stay the same. Mm-hmm. Now, that helped us a couple years ago against the Raiders and Derek Carr. Jeff Heath knocked the ball out of his hands and it went to the back of the end zone. Cowboys won the game. That's just the way it is. You just can't be reckless at the goal line with the football. I like the rule, even though if it hurt us this year. You got to know the rules. Either way, the general sentiment of the competition committee is that it is the ball carrier's responsibility to control the football, and it's not a rule that needs to be changed right now. And I got to say, with Stephen Jones and the rest of the I agree. I think it should stay this way, in my opinion. But some view it as too much of a penalty or unfair burden on the offense to lose the ball.
I'm sorry, to
on
me,
fumbles.
it feels like just the right kind of penalty. I'm sorry. You're trying to score a touchdown. This is the time for ball security. Fuck around and find out. As much as I hate that it even happened to us, it's exactly what should have happened per the rules. I'm not going to fight it. I don't disagree with it. And I think that, I think taking it away would take away something from, I feel like the expectations of the point of trying to score a touchdown. I don't know.
I think people will start to fly over just jump into the end zone.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Dive into the end zone. It brings the responsibility of the ball carrier. I think it should be more important to make sure you don't fumble when you get closer to the goal line. And this is one way of, a rare situation.
Like you're basically saying that ball security doesn't really matter, and you can just, as long as you cross into the end zone, that's your only responsibility.
Well, obviously, if you fumble the ball,
you don't have to hold on to the ball anymore, or take care of the ball in any way.
Obviously, if you fumble the ball in the middle of the field, like in the goal line, at the 1 yard line, you just fumble it. Of course, that stays the same. That's responsibility. But when you lose the ball into the end zone and the other team gets it on the 20, that's just. Like that's the rule. Like we said, that's the way it is. It's happened to us. It's helped us and hurt us. I personally am okay with this because it heightens the difficulty. And to me, the defense has enough things going against it all the time. Why are we always hurting the defense with the hip drop? Again, whether you need it or not, defense has the hardest job out there. The offense gets a lot of the leeway. So this situation flips it the other way. Gives the defense a little more. If they're irresponsible with the ball on the goal line, defense can create a touchback.
And again,
turnover.
It puts the onus on the offense to be the ones to actually do their job.
Be more perfect.
Exactly.
Uh-oh. Hold your horses, guys. Someone's back in the over everything. You know who that is?
Mr. Seabass.
Not only is he in the over everything, baby, the man is in second place on the overall board, right behind McLovin. I'm going to update this board right now.
Thank you so much, Seabass.
Much love to Seabass. Our second time for him in the over everything. We've had 3 people, Snug-X, Seabass, and now Seabass once again. Appreciate him over everything. And we already owe him a visit here. So he's going to have 2 visits here, possibly in March, right here in my Cowboys family, so we can hear his thoughts on this offseason. You're going to be a lot of moves going on here, whether it's extensions,
hopefully,
restructures, cuts, or free agents.
Hopefully, if your schedule allows, we can do one, pre-free agency and post-free agency, just because I have a feeling we'll have quite a few things to discuss in those 2. Well, not just that, but that's 2 weeks away?
Yeah, but the 13th of March.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So, fingers crossed, Mr. Seabass. You already know how to hit us up. Shoot us an email so we can work out the timing of that. And get your thoughts. Of course, also the postseason thoughts. Since a lot has happened since then, right?
We'll spur it out properly. I'm sure we'll have no problem. Much love to the man, Seabass.
Don't even worry about it, Mr. Seabass. First of all, I'm just glad that you're doing all right and feeling better, right? I know you had that nasty little accident there, so just glad that you're in one piece, right? And let me keep on hitting up the chat, right? Touching on some of these things, but yeah, so some great anime chat in the chat. Although I'm still gonna say FMA Brotherhood beats all of those. Easily.
You guys gotta talk to the wife about this anime stuff. But
Thomas Garrett said, learn how to carry the ball properly and stop being cute carrying the football.
Exactly. I don't want to give the offense a chance to just, now they can do more highlight shit flying into the end zone, and the defense they can't make them pay for it anymore.
Yeah.
It's like,
plus, let's look at it from a more practical standpoint. Doing that type of stuff, you're asking to get injured. Right? Especially in an end zone situation where, players, like if you think you hit hard in the middle of the field, what do you think is happening when you're trying to stop a touchdown? So it just feels like you're cutting off your nose to spite your face at this point, right? And let's be real, that we already feel like a lot of other things have been taken away that remove the excitement of certain parts of the game. Like this to me does add to some of the excitement of the game. Like, holy crap. Talk about the perfect time for a turnover like that, and I'm just saying, I do appreciate it.
We'll hear more about these rule changes throughout the week, throughout this combine week, which officially really kicks off tomorrow on the field. So, baby, you can bet. We can bet our bottom dollar here that we're going to be talking a lot about these rule changes or non-rule changes possibly happening by the end of the week. We'll know more. Let's put it like that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
And Thomas Garrett said it. This comes from a person who was a running back back in the day.
Got
I think I said, just get into the end zone bottom line.
I mean, we got to get in the end zone. That's for us. We can't have these fumbles. But my point is, it will happen to us again. It happens to every team at least once, in a couple years. And this is a good reminder of know the fucking rules, right? Do not go over there and get lazy about ball responsibility and getting the ball over the line. If you're gonna jump over that line and it's towards the sideline, and you're going to try to jump in the end zone, you got to keep that ball a little closer to your body. You can't really extend it because if you fumble it, it goes out of bounds. It's a turnover. And now the other team gets it on the 20. So just remember, that rule looks like it's going to still stay. We'll see about the other rules, though. Like the hip drop thing may be changing. They may be adding that. They're looking a little bit more at that XFL kickoff rule. So we'll see if anything does change, probably closer to Friday, Saturday, this weekend. We'll probably discuss this a little more, as well as during the scouting combine, which will be this, starting tomorrow all the way through Sunday, afternoon. So that's the rule situation.
Guys, we are definitely getting to that right now, because I see a few comments in the chat as far
running
as
backs.
Let's do it. I feel like some of you guys are vibing with what I'm thinking too. By the way, Swerton, appreciate you too. Oh,
Swerton, a stinking Bronco fan. Anyways. Appreciate everybody here. Hit the like, hit that subscribe button. Over 34,000 family members to subscriber here. Yes. And let's keep it going. Let's get to 40 now, and then 50, and then 100 and on. Yeah, beyond. Keep growing the family. So today, guys, the last piece of news, which we're at the end of our stream, but this is the longest part, it's running backs. And why is it running backs? Well, today, several running backs were announced to not be getting franchise tagged this offseason, which it's not really big news, and it's not surprising news, but it is, I guess, news. And one of those guys, of course, is Tony Pollard. I'll get to it in a minute. Several running backs not getting franchise tag. There's a reason for this. It's a lot of money for a running back. You don't have to pay any running back out there the tag price, which is, I think, almost $11 million. And to some of these guys,
closer to 12 or something.
Some of the guys getting the second tag, which would be some of these names you're going to hear, it goes up past $12 million.
Okay.
So that's what I'm saying. The second tags we're bringing to over 12. The first tag, it's about 10, almost 11. It's like 10.7 or 10.9. Gotcha. So a lot of running backs are not getting tagged. Big name guys. Let me go through some of the names here. Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley, Josh Jacobs, Austin Eckler, and of course, Tony Pollard. There's a couple others. I'll mention them in a minute, but these are the 5 I wanted to just quickly talk about. The Chargers are letting Austin Eckler test the free agent market. This was certified by ESPN, and the Chargers have a very little interest in extending him ahead of free agency, even with Jim Harbaugh suggesting LA would, quote unquote, love to have him back. So it looks like Austin Eckler gone from the Chargers. Gonna go free agency, get maybe a little more money that they're willing to pay him, right? What about the Raiders? They had their number 1 running back there 2 years ago with Josh Jacobs. Try to get the bag this last year, was holding out. got the tag this year. The Raiders are going to attempt to re-sign free agent to be running back Josh Jacobs, but they are not going to tag him. And the tag would cost him $14.149 million. So they're not looking to tag Josh Jacobs or give him over $14 million for a running back.
Which, understandable.
Yeah, even though he is, they do want to re-sign him. Now, what about the Giants? Saquon Barkley. Giants, they're...
Well, we already knew things were contentious there just based on the contract that he signed this past season.
It was another situation like Josh Jacobs. When he wanted more money, they didn't win it. They tagged him or gave him some kind of one-year deal. The point is the Giants are still going to speak with Saquon Barkley. All right? And they're going to try to explore some kind of deal with Saquon Barkley. But the word is 100%. They are not going to tag him for $12.1 million, which is what I think Pollard's is as well. Now, when you look at Derrick Henry, he's not getting tagged. I mean, we knew he was not getting tagged, but he is definitely being let. Like the Titans are not looking at all to bring back Derrick Henry.
He's pretty much one of the only guys who's like very firmly not going back to the team.
I would say him and Eckler.
It still seems like, well, true. I guess they also made it pretty clear
Eckler,
that they're not going to bring him back in any form.
Even though they said they like him, it sounds like it's not going to happen. At least at this moment. Now, what about, again, Henry? Like I said, longtime star of Tennessee, the Titans, Derrick Henry. We knew he was trying to leave last year. Remember, I mean, we tried to get traded last year, almost traded to the Raiders, I think it was. Was wanting to leave last year. He kind of hinted at that. Of course, now it looks like he's going to be on the free agent, be a full unrestricted free agent. There's no tag going on him. And, of course, our own Tony Pollard, TP, not getting the franchise tag, the FT. So, Cowboys are not expected, and again, it's not official until whatever the deadline day is, but the Cowboys are not going to tag running back Tony Pollard. That would be
no real surprise.
$12.109 million is the tag. It's unmovable. It's fully guaranteed. Cowboys are not paying that much for a running back this year. That's just that. And again, if you guys thought he was coming back,
if we spend $12 million at the entire running back position.
Exactly. Listen, this means he's on track to test the market, the free agent market. And again, according to all sides here, guys, the Cowboys and Pollard's agent, there have been no communication. The Cowboys do not have any negotiations underway. It's not like Josh Jacobs. It's not like Saquon Barkley. The Cowboys are done with Pollard right now, the way that the Chargers are done with Eckler and the Tennessee Titans are done with Henry.
Exactly.
That's kind of the way it looks there.
Pollard's days in Dallas are done.
Well,
I'm
not going to say done, but I'm going to say they're definitely done for now. Because there is a chance that if he tests the waters and it's just easier to come back, the Cowboys are willing to give him a little bit more for his services. There's a chance he could come back to Dallas. Other running backs that are hitting free agency right now are not tagged running backs, but they're still running backs that we knew were going to be free agents and definitely not tagged. Are guys like from the Eagles, DeAndre Swift, the Packers, A.J. Dillon, and I'll even throw in there Houston Texans, Devin Singletary. These are the other guys also, of course, untagged. We knew this already. Also heading into free agency. Now, The Athletic, they have a guy named Randy Mueller, and he put out his top 10 free agent running backs for this offseason. I'll give you his list, and I'll give you my list for our Cowboys. And it's a shorter, it's not a top 10 list. So, number one on their list, on this guy's list from The Athletic, Saquon Barkley.
Okay.
Number 2, Josh Jacobs. Number 3, a surprising one to me, Gus Edwards from the Ravens. Number 4, Derrick Henry. Number 5, DeAndre Swift. Number 6, Austin Eckler. Number 7, Ezekiel Elliott. And right behind Zeke, they got Tony Pollard at number 8. With Devin Singletary at 9 and Clyde Edwards-Helaire at 10. Now, I'm going to say every guy in this list here, we've had Zeke, we've had Pollard, but every other guy in this list, other than maybe Gus Edwards, you can get these guys for relatively, most of these guys, not everyone, the bottom half of these guys, inexpensive, I would say. The Saquon Barkleys and Josh Jacobs will be a little bit more cashola, so to speak, right? So that's the list they have. Now, I do agree. Listen, when it comes to the Cowboys, Tony Pollard, free agent now. We know he's going to be a free agent. Okay? No running back now starter. Who is our backup? Rico Dowdle. Also not going to be tagged. Also going to be a free agent. Our 94% of our rushing attempts, they're not going to be here, at least not starting into free agency. They're going to be unrestricted free agents, which means like the other 6% is like Turpin, CeeDee Lamb, and Dak Prescott. You know what I mean? Like that's it. We're talking about 3 guys that are not running backs. So basically all our running back carries are gone. Pollard and Dowdle, gone. As far as at this moment, don't know if we're going to re-sign any of these guys. But the Cowboy running back core is gonna have some questions. Who do you got for that? You got Deuce Vaughn hanging on by a thread in the practice squad, right? I mean, not practice, but injury, whatever. He's hanging on by a thread. You got the fullback. What's his name? I can't believe I forgot. Yeah, Hunter Lipke. I guess he's a running back. He ain't a starter. And Malik Davis in the practice squad. You got another guy, Snoop Connor. I know a lot of people are talking about Snoop. Guys, he ain't starting for the Cowboys. He may be lucky if he makes the 53. He's going to be practice squad. A lot of people hyping him up for some reason like he's a superstar. That's the Jerry Jones effect. Don't blow the smoke, guys, when you know there's not a lot behind some of these guys. So we're going to stick it with the realness here on MCF and try to be realistic about what could the Cowboys do in a realistic way to fill up these 2-3 spots. We're going to listen. Deuce Vaughn will probably not be here for those Deuce Vaughn lovers, and Lipke, yeah, probably, but I don't even count him. He's a fullback. Let's just call him a fullback. So we have no real running backs currently on this roster, on our 53-man roster. I say Malik Davis is our best current guy on our roster right now.
And again, that's why I said that, just talking with Mr. MCF here, obviously we know that Tony Pollard is not coming back. So that really just means, okay, who's going to be our starter? Because it feels like this is one of those situations where we're going to hit up free agents. We're going to probably draft a guy. Like, it's got to be a multifaceted approach.
So tonight we're going to focus on free agency. Okay? Now, I do think that Tony Pollard can come back to the Cowboys, but it have to be, I'm going to give you an example. It has to be with, like, Saquon Barkley, right? It has to be with, like, Henry, like Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
If you get Derrick Henry and Pollard, you got a 1-2 punch there. You also could get other guys that are cheaper than these guys I just mentioned, than Saquon or Josh Jacobs or Derrick Henry. That can still be a good 1-2 punch with Pollard being the other punch, not a full-time guy. So there is that chance if he accepts a cheaper deal, $4 million, something like that, you may get Pollard back, split in time with another guy. Rico Dowdle may come back. He may be the Tony Pollard replacement, and we get a Derrick Henry to start, right? With Rico, you get him back for $1 million or $1.5 million, and you run him in there as the backup to whoever the guy you pick up is, right? So we don't want Pollard and Rico Dowdle 1-2 punch. That we don't want that this year. So as you look past our own guys that we could re-sign, whether it's Pollard or Rico Dowdle, running back can be found anywhere. Right now, and nowadays in these offensive schemes, and the worth of the running back position has gone down. So the first place I want to look at, even though we're not talking about it tonight in this way, and as far as rookies are concerned, is the draft. Now let me just explain real quick, just so you guys, I'm just going to quickly go into this. How deep is this draft? Because last year you had Bijan, you had what's his name from the Lions, the running back from the Lions. That oh god, I can't believe I forgot his name. Anyways.
You're asking the wrong person.
What's his name? Jahmyr Gibbs, Bijan Robinson. All these guys were like first round
there you go.
running backs.
You said it, Mike Aldana. Yes. Got you in the chat. Gibbs, thank you guys.
Yeah, so Jahmyr Gibbs, Bijan Robinson. These guys were. It was a deep draft for running backs because you had high end running backs, middle of the pack running backs, lower end running backs throughout the entire draft. This draft, it's a little bit different. Let me start off by saying there is no high-end running backs. That's number one. There's really no first-rounder or second-round running back that anyone's really mocking to any team right now. Even if you need running backs like us, there's not really that many top-shelf running backs. In fact, and you've heard me mention this name before, the highest-ranked running back right now on ESPN's draft board, for example, is the guy we've been talking about here. Has been linked to the Cowboys, Jonathan Brooks from the Texas Longhorns. Currently, they have him at 72, which is middle third round or so. All right? Could the Cowboys get him in the third? Very possibly. They can grab him in the third round. Again, though, remember, guys, what's the big deal? There's another running back out there as well from USC, Marshawn Lloyd. He's ranked 73rd on this big board for ESPN. So you got the 72nd, 73rd. That's the best spot. That's the best running backs in this draft. And again, some other people might put them a little higher, a little lower. My point is, they're not top 20 running backs. They're not, first round running backs or even really second round running backs. But I will say this. Jonathan Brooks would have been a late first, early second. He was the only top shelf running back before he got injured in college with the Texans. Again, you got to remember, guys, on Move the Sticks, on Bucky Brooks' list, on ESPN's draft board, the highest guy is Texas Longhorn running back Jonathan Brooks. And the word is right now he's healing very well, and everything's going as expected after the ACL surgery. He tore his ACL. He had surgery earlier this season, and his doctor, Dr. Dan Cooper, projects that he should be cleared to handle, action and hits and all that stuff by training camp. But he's not going to do any combine drills. As we know, the combine is kicking off tomorrow officially with on-the-field stuff. He will not do any on-the-field stuff, obviously, with that freshly worked on ACL. But here's the key, though, baby. You know who Dr. Dan Cooper is? He's the Dallas Cowboys team surgeon.
Okay. So obviously he can give us a bit of an inside scoop.
He knows the real deal on what's going on with this healing of the ACL for Jonathan Brooks. So if the Cowboys draft him in the third round, they know that this guy is ready to roll. That's all I'm going to leave it at that. That's the way I'm looking at it, because a lot of people will probably even drop him farther back with the question marks of being a running back off the ACL and not ready until training camp.
Now,
so that's a big one.
And I'm just going to remind everybody that this absolutely 1,000% fits our typical Dallas Cowboys drafting MO, because isn't our favorite thing to do to get a first round projected guy who ended up hurt? Now we can snap him up cheap and see if we can make it work.
Yeah, I mean, look, even if the Cowboys added a running back, and I said, let's say it's not Jonathan Brooks, let's say it's not Marshawn Lloyd, these two guys would be third round projections. That's the highest. I do think there is some depth in this draft for a secondary, like not a bell cow. There's no bell cows anymore. But for that, kind of like that 1-2 punch. That's the number 2. You can still grab somebody in free agency and get a really good, solid replacement for, let's say, Rico Dowdle, if you wanted that, right? So, and a guy you can use a lot more. So I see in the chat here some of you guys saying, like Revelation journalists, about Frank Gore Jr., which I love him. He's a 5th rounder, though, guys. You understand? The depth is not here when it comes to the top running back, 3 down running backs. There's not really any of them here in this draft. Again, Jonathan Brooks is the best one. He's a 3 down running back, but he's coming off an injury.
Day 1 guy, possibly. Could have been a day 1 guy, maybe.
Yeah,
right?
on late day 2.
Exactly.
But that's if we go with him, right? We can still go with Frank Gore Jr. in the 5th round, and I have no fucking problem with that. I'd rather almost do that than go roll the dice on a hurt guy, My point here being that, we got going to be the second year guys like Deuce Vaughn and Hunter Lipke and Malik Davis, who's going to be a 3rd-year guy on our practice squad. That lack of experience is a growing concern going into this 2024 season. So even drafting another guy, you're not getting any experience. You're getting no experience from the running back position in a drafted situation. Whether it is they're the best running back out there right now, Jonathan Brooks, who's coming off the ACL, or if you go with Marshawn Lloyd, it's who's the next best running back, or you drop to Frank Gore Jr. in the 5th round or 6th round. I'm cool with either choice, but this cannot be the only move we make. So now let's focus on what I'm talking about tonight, which is free agents. And as I said, I would not mind bringing back Pollard or bringing back Rico Dowdle for the right price, cheap, especially for Tony Pollard. He's got to be cheap. But, someone like Rico Dowdle could be, he'll be $1.5 million. That won't be that much to get Rico back if you really wanted him. But if you want to bring in the number 1 guy, and it's not going to be Tony Pollard, let's take a look at some of the quick names on this list that I have here. My own list, which is Saquon Barkley. He's going to be the most expensive guy. He's going to be the highest priced, costed guy on this list. All right? He's a free agent, does not want to play under the franchise tag. no matter what. And the Giants today, of course, said we're not franchising, tagging you, but they are still talking to him, right? He had a comeback kind of year this year in 2022, where 2 years ago he ran for over 1,300 yards, but this last year he missed 3 games, and he played behind a real shitty offensive line. Now, listen, if he misses 3 games to the Cowboys and plays behind a better offensive line, Barkley could be a danger for opposing defenses on our team. But even with all these issues, all right, getting injured, missing 3 games, playing behind a bad offensive line blocking wise, he still managed to run for 962 yards and 6 touchdowns. Saquon Barkley is a 2-time Pro Bowler. He could benefit from a fresh start somewhere else. Now, the Giants had big-time high hopes for him this past year following the 2022 playoff campaign, 2022 season he had, 1,300 yards. But ultimately, their season ended with, again, another disappointment. So, for the Cowboys, for our side, if the Cowboys are looking, first of all, if the fans and the front office is willing to look past the injuries, they love looking at injuries because that lowers the price. So, when you look at that, could that be a Cowboy swaying point, going for a big name for this much money? I don't think so. And again, that's the injury is a big deal to me as a running back. So to me, to pay big money for a Saquon Barkley would be dumb. In his time with the Giants, Barkley has accounted for over 5,211 yards rushing, 35 touchdowns, and 3 1,000-yard seasons. So it's great numbers, of course. We know he's not to that level anymore. He's a great receiver. That's the one thing about him as a receiving running back. He is so dangerous. He has 288 catches, 2,100 receiving yards, and 12 touchdowns as a receiver. And not only that, he's an explosive back with elite athleticism when he's healthy, great patience, natural patience. They're outstanding, making miss abilities. And again, guys, apart from that 2022 playoff season for the Giants have struggled throughout the entire time he's been in New York. He's going to be 27 years old this offseason. Still may have a couple years of football left for him, right? So if the Cowboys make this move, Barkley will get an opportunity to play in behind a better offensive line, a more efficient passing game, and a more efficient offense, and just better surrounding talent than he had in New York. So again, if this move was ever to happen, let's say we were to get Saquon in town, right? I don't think it's a realistic thing at happening because of his price, because the Cowboys don't want to spend that much money for a running back. And especially, look, don't even think about it when you got Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones behind right. the moves there of money. So the biggest concern, it wouldn't be a problem for them to go after a guy like Saquon. That fits perfectly. But to me, is the Cowboys have to open their pockets again to overpay for a running back that, even though he's one of the most explosive playmakers when he's not injured. It's another big contract for the Cowboys here, which I don't think that the Joneses are going to do. I know most fans don't want to do it. And to me, I think you said this earlier, baby. If the Cowboys make Saquon Barkley their marquee free agent, much love to Chuck to Montana, dropping his monthly message for February, 25 months, repping
Montana
on that in the membership side of things. What did the man have to say?
6 stars for the GTA Super Bowl wanted level. And shout out to all the followers of all anime sources. So yeah, shout out to you, Chalk to Montana 08 again. We like to keep it a mixed variety things here at MCF. Always football and Cowboys first, but
we're throwing some anime. Yes. So especially with
not me,
but you can. Yeah, you can throw in some anime. Yes. So hey, appreciate you, Chalk to Montana, as always. Here, go Cowboys. But I just want to finish, but making Saquon Barkley the star move, the big pickup of the free agency for us, when we're finally on the verge of not having to spend money on running backs this year, like the spending responsibility on the running back position has been overspending every year. Like that would be a Cowboy move.
We're out of running back cap hell, so to speak.
And now we're gonna go back to
dive right into it.
That would be a Cowboy move. Be a very Cowboy thing. So I'm scratching Saquon Barkley off of my list. Another name I have to touch on is Josh Jacobs, who a lot of you guys may say, okay, this guy used to be 2 years ago he was a leading running back. We need a running back to really change things. Listen, let's go from 1 star to another star. Josh Jacobs, he would be a massive spark to the Cowboy backfield. Maybe he's the best back available health-wise, overall-wise, right? He missed 4 games last year. Still ran for 805 yards and 6 touchdowns. But now he's in his 5th year. And he's 2 years removed from the rushing title in 2022, a year which he ran for 1,653 yards and 12 touchdowns. In addition to being a top-tier back like Saquon, a big top name, he's an asset in the passing game like Barkley is. He had 50 passes or more, and he caught 50 passes or more in the last 2 seasons. I'm sorry, in 2 of the last 3 seasons.
Okay.
And like Barkley, he had that franchise tag put on him in 2023, and he wants to get a much bigger contract now after
playing on that tag.
Yeah, but the tag is $14 million for him, and he's not getting that tag. So that means that the Raiders and no other team are going to pay the $14 million for him. That's the look for him. So and hopefully not the Cowboys. Great running back, I believe not worth the extra money for the running back spot. Now,
again, we can interpret some of the words of our front office in a lot of different ways, but it is hard to deny that the implication behind Stephen Jones' comments about we're doing things differently at the running back position, right, especially in relation to the moves we know and anticipate they're going to make, like not bringing back Tony Pollard, it does lead you to believe that, hey,
we have to get
they're saying they're going to head in a different direction, and this is like the first little baby step in doing that.
Again, but let's hope they don't go with Jacobs or Barkley, because then we're back in the same situation.
Back to square one.
Back to the Joneses and their running back fetishes. So my thing is this. Now let's get to the more realistic names, and I think that this is more like down my alley. The biggest name on my list is still Derrick Henry. And
I have to agree.
And the reason is, again, I talked about this in the past. I'll quickly talk about it now, but he's, of course, not being franchise tagged. And after the Pollard situation with not really being able to carry the full load of things and on the goal line and short yardage, we had issues with Pollard, as we knew we would. I mean, I've been saying that whether we kept Zeke or not, we couldn't keep him on that deal. But Zeke would have been fine to bring back to get on the goal line and those short yardage. We didn't have that with Pollard. So that's why I'm talking about Derrick Henry for a moment here, all right? A player that fits that 3-down running back situation that can catch, block, and run, goal line, short yardage stuff, is a 3-down back like Derrick Henry. Working against him is his age, all right? He's going to be 30 when his next season begins, which is the historic age where running backs usually decline, right? That's when you usually see a huge drop in production at that point. I'm not saying to sign Henry for a 5-year deal. I'm saying a 1-year fucking deal. But he has logged over 2,000 rush attempts since he joined in the NFL, same year as Zeke in 2016. And this has seen a drop in production every year since his 2,000-yard season in 2020. But here's the other key too, baby. I don't think that his predicted market, I don't think that where Sport Track and Over the Cap have him at is that high priced. He's still, I mean, when you told me, if you're telling me Saquon Barkley costs $9-10 million or Josh Jacobs in the same range, I'm saying hell no to Derrick Henry. But I'm seeing here $4.3 million is the target estimate right now in the running back market for him. So for $4.3 million, not $8.3, but $4.3 million, I'm going Derrick Henry right now. And I'm taking him over Saquon for 10 and over Josh Jacobs for 10. I would take Derrick Henry, all right? And, Tony Pollard, he might be 4.5. Mm-hmm. Guess what? I'm still taking Derrick Henry. He's giving me all 3 downs. He's giving me blocking. He's giving me pass receiving. So, again, a guy that can stand there at all times.
My favorite thing about this move is, it absolutely fits what, like I said, is my interpretation of what we're trying to do at the run game, run spot, run position, however you want to phrase that, right? Derrick Henry is absolutely a big free agent move. And you get a little bit of, in the sense
he's
of,
old. He's going downhill, but he gives you that short yardage.
When I say big free agent move, I'm talking within the realm of the Dallas Cowboys. That is, I would consider that a big name.
For cheap.
I think that fits a little bit of that kind of, pizzazz, flashy type of, look at this person we brought in type of thing. So, because remember, the moves like Gilmore and Cooks, those were accomplished through trades and picks and stuff.
Free agents.
We're going to have to do that caliber of move through free agency. And I think Derrick Henry is like in that range.
And the reason why we'd have to do that, why? Because we got rid of all the draft picks, making those moves for Cooks and for Gilmore. So we really can't trade for our free agents either. Exactly. We got to actually make deals for free agents.
Which, again, the chat, and Matt Batt, and I know I saw a few other people say it, at that price point, absolutely get Derrick Henry.
Yeah, 4.3, 4.5. I'm in with that. Again, when you heard me last year talking about this last season, I said no, not for $8 million, not for a trade. For what? You can get him in free. Now you get him. Now's the time you want to make a move for him. Go for it. Mm-hmm. By the way, I didn't shout this out earlier, but another drop by Jason Renfro, a $2 holler.
Ooh, Jason.
And a Go Cowboys. He jumps out of his last place, jumps over Skeptical Fan into 6th place on the overall board. He's still, I think he's 6th on the, or 5th on the Cash App board. Much love, Jason Renfro. Appreciate you. Go Cowboys. You know
Thank
it.
you, Jason, as always.
So, Derrick Henry at $4.3 million through Sport Track. To me, getting him signed early is the key. If you wait a little longer, you get 4 or 5 teams involved in a bidding war. Now his price goes up. So that's my thing about Derrick Henry. You got to set the going rate, and you might have to pay. You might make the first move. Okay, we'll give you 4.5 instead of the going rate of 4.3, and lock up Derrick Henry. That's one option. Now let's say the Cowboys do not want to go that route. Here's some lower. I'm going to say some lesser names, but baby, this is what I'm trying to say. These are the names. The Derrick Henry's a big name, like you said, like the Jerry Jones splash move. We're going to sell some jerseys. These other names, though, might help us more.
Okay.
Maybe. Man, I'm saying this with another one. We got to have a 1-2 punch here. These are not just one guys you get. You got to get either a really good running back in the draft, or you got to bring back at least Rico Dowdle as your number 2 in this situation. So,
which, again, I did want to point this out, too, because I know Fuego had mentioned it earlier. I'm not opposed to Rico Dowdle coming back. Just saying that he can't do it on his own. He needs some serious help. Cowboys, you got to give it to him. Back to you, baby.
So my guy here, one of my top guys when it comes to, a lesser non-name guy like Derrick Henry. Forget Barkley, forget Jacobs. No want either guy. Henry's the highest price. I say Henry and Pollard, but you got to give me a better guy next to Pollard. You can't stay with Rico Dowdle and Pollard again. You just can't do that. So. And you'd have to space out maybe the carries a little more evenly, I think, if you do something like that. But even that would not make me happy. I would like the Cowboys to get more experience there. And Pollard's, he's going to his 6th year now.
He is.
But you got Henry who's been there for a while. You have Saquon and Jacobs have been there for a while. What about Zach Moss? You say, who's he? Guys, Zach Moss. A lower end, but to me, a very solid option, maybe the most solid option. But I have 3 or 4 solid options here. So it's not all law. If Barkley's gone and Jacobs gone and someone signs Derrick Henry, it's far from over, guys. So let me explain. Zach Moss spent the first 2.5 years of his career with the Buffalo Bills. Okay. Then he got traded in 2022 to the Indianapolis Colts. That's when he had that injury. That's when the injury happened to Jonathan Taylor. And then Zach Moss became the featured running back. Now, that was in 2022. Now, that's one of the reasons why Jonathan Taylor couldn't get a big deal like he wanted. Remember? It's because of Zach Moss. Yeah. So in 2023, Moss had career highs in rushing attempts, 183 running attempts, 794 rushing yards. He did not play the whole year. And he had 5 rushing touchdowns. So I like just what Zach Moss brings to the table is already, to me, beyond solid. It's above solid. He's above average. But here's the thing, guys. Again, Moss proved that he can be a starter through the first 4 games of the season. It kind of reminds me of a stronger Tony Pollard type. All right? He can hang. He can give you some starting reps, 4 or 5 games. You probably want to get him a little more help, though, not make him run a whole 17 games on his own. So, again, he can be a starter.
He's got a little more power than Pollard does. For those more power back,
for handling that kind of stuff, exactly. And that's the thing, baby. When he was able to start the first 4 games of the season for the Colts with Jonathan Taylor sideline, and he also got banged up a little bit too. I think Zach Moss missed the first week as well, so they didn't have either running back, the Colts, that first week. But in weeks 2, 3, 4, and 5, Zach Moss ran for 445 yards in those 4 games. He was averaging 5 yards per carry in those 4 games. He only had 1 rushing touchdown. But he's still averaging 111 yards, rushing yards, per game. Just on his own, with nobody to help him out here. And let me just not stop there. I got to give props to Zach Moss, because he's an efficient runner, but he's also a very efficient pass blocker, which is important to this team. So Zach Moss has the pass blocking skills you get with some of the top running backs like Zeke, who can do that very well. So I love that Zach Moss can give you the pass blocking, he gives you the pure running. And when you look at the pass blocking snaps, he had 50 of them last year, and he got a very for a running back, a 62.0 grade is very respectable. It's above average. So he's very good there. Pass blocking does not appear in highlights or in a stat sheet for running backs, but it is almost as valuable as everything else. And we know with Dak, we're going to need that running back that can definitely pick up block. Tony Pollard got better, but he wasn't a consistent guy, I think, for that. So the last part of things is if you're looking for the price tag on Zach Moss, should not be a concern. Very similar to Derrick Henry. $100,000 less. Figure $4 million. $4 to $4.5 million. About the same range as Derrick Henry. So Zach Moss is a good, if you miss on Derrick Henry because of the age, you get Zach Moss. He's younger. He's going to probably, he's not going to be as big. He's not going to be able to he's not as big at breaking tackles and stuff, but the guy can give you a lot there. I think the Cowboys should consider signing free agent Zach Moss, 26 years old, guys, looking to show he can be a RB1, which I think he can do that for the Cowboys. If you add in a equal dosage of somebody else that could take some snaps. Again, if it's a short yardage thing, you bring short yardage. If you want someone faster, maybe Rico Dowdle. My point is, you can bring him in here. I think he would be a good slide to something where we can still utilize the running game and not have to spend $8 to $10 million. Now, of course, Derrick Henry is my number one. Zach Moss is my number two on this list. And
I think Zach Moss would be, if the Cowboys are trying to spend like $5 million total on the running back position, or like $8 million total. You know what I mean? Like,
remember, they're both the same though. But I know what you mean. You're paying still a little bit higher for him, but the next guy you're going to bring in is going to be a little bit more than you do bring in with Derrick Henry.
Exactly.
Right, I get you.
So it all kind of works or balances itself out to a similar number towards the end, but it still feels like, again, we're talking about the mentality of going into it, right? And especially after our draft discussion there.
Yeah, I mean,
if the Cowboys choose to, go more of a Johnson route or just kind of just in general, the point is that if they take that multi-pronged approach, but their expectation is, hey, the guy that we drafted is going to end up eventually as like the number one guy. Like, I'm just saying, like, if they have that expectation, I feel like Moss would make more sense with that mindset.
I disagree on one side of that.
Okay,
because Derrick Henry, even though he's older, a 1-year deal is fine. So that your backup, Jonathan Brooks, can maybe, learn and get the ACL healed up fully for the following year, right? Mm-hmm. As a 3rd-round pick or 4th-round pick. So to me, that'd be a better situation than like Zach Moss. We might need a running back in sooner with Zach Moss, is all I'm trying to say.
True.
Derrick Henry
good point.
But Derrick Henry also is 30, maybe broken down a little bit here and there and get injured, and we might need him sooner for that reason. Zach Moss is not as going to break down as fast, but they do slightly different things. But the good thing is that we know that Zach Moss can block very well as well. Now, let me add another name here. Maybe we only got a couple more names here, but I want to add in there A.J. Dillon.
Okay.
Because I've been saying A.J. Dillon for a bunch of years. He's kind of like my, what was the other guy I mentioned that I always, a linebacker. I always mentioned, God, I forgot his name. I think Devin White's the guy I always mentioned, a linebacker. But I think it was another guy I always mentioned. And every single year, it's like, okay, we skipped on him, we missed on him. But I think A.J. Dillon is a very solid running back for what we would need him to do from the Green Bay Packers. You look at someone like Zach Moss, who probably deserves that starting situation. So does A.J. Dillon. He's going to hit the open market, guys. Going to look for an opportunity to be a lead running back this year in 2024. Selected by the Packers, 62nd overall in the 2020 draft. He has been a fantastically complimentary, solid running back to Aaron Jones for them. But when you look at the career numbers, as a number 2 back, all right, A.J. Dillon has rushed for 2,428 yards and 16 career touchdowns as a number 2 back in 4 years. I'm just saying, guys, to me, that is fantastic numbers for a number 2. And that's what you're kind of looking for, to match up an A.J. Dillon with another guy that can give you, the different dimension you need from a running back. A.J. Dillon's going to give you solid fucking numbers split in time. I mean, you bring him and Pollard back, you got yourself something now. You know what I'm saying? That's just something. And A.J. Dillon, you got to remember, guys, he's reliable as a receiver, has 86 catches for 763 yards in 4 years and 2 touchdowns. All right? And in his skill set, he's formerly from Boston College. He's known as Quadzilla for his quads, guys. He's a power runner. He's a little smaller, but he's not Derrick Henry's size, but he's a power runner who would help the Cowboys in short yardage. So A.J. Dillon, perfect for short yardage, perfect to be a 1-2 punch, and can be kind of a semi-lead back if the Cowboys want to go cheap. Similar to Zach Moss, Dillon also is very good in pass protection. So he's another guy. He's a Zach Moss part 2. If you miss on Zach Moss or you miss on Derrick Henry, A.J. Dillon is not far behind. If the Cowboys want to limit the spending even more, A.J. Dillon will be even less than Zach Moss. All right? To me, he'll be under $4 million for an A.J. Dillon. I like A.J. Dillon.
Mike Aldana said A.J. Dillon has burned us every time he's played us.
Every time he's killed us. And that's in the passing, in the blocking, and in the running. Now, look, Aaron Jones is the killer. But A.J. Dillon is the one that really kind of does the little things that really show up.
Seabass said A.J. Dillon's a fucking bulldozer.
Yes.
What do you call them, Types MCF? I think you call them glass eaters.
Yeah.
And the first time I ever heard this reference, and I'm still losing my shit hearing you say it in my head.
I know. We got glass eaters, and that was in the draft that they brought it up. But A.J. Dillon's a glass eater, and I think this is a guy who would be great to bring on this team. We also share heritage, him and I. So either way, A.J. Dillon, I really like him for what he can bring to the team on the ground, in the air, in pass protection, and is very good, already proven as that 1-2 punch kind of running back. I don't see us having a bell cow. We're not getting a number 1 guy unless it's Derrick Henry. And even with him, if you get him, you can't get A.J. Dillon. But then you could bring in a quicker, faster guy, let's say, to complement Derrick Henry. A.J. Dillon could be the guy maybe $2 million less than Derrick Henry that still can do even maybe more than Derrick Henry in some ways. Maybe not the goal line. Yeah, Henry's great at goal line, but so is A.J. Dillon. He's very good. So, again, if the Cowboys, it's about spending with these two on the right and left of your screen here with Jerry and Steven. If it's about money, A.J. Dillon. If you didn't want to go Zach Moss, A.J. Dillon is a good prospect. The last guy I'm going to speak about is DeAndre Swift. And I know I hate to talk about him because the Eagles last year. But, they made a good deal. I don't think Stephen Jones knows who DeAndre Swift is, because when they try to trade him, it sounds like the word is when the Lions are looking to trade DeAndre Swift this past draft, the word kind of underground is that Stephen Jones didn't even know who DeAndre Swift was. And, of course, they ended up getting him for a 4th-round pick, I think, DeAndre Swift. A very good deal for the Eagles. So DeAndre Swift, again, it was a contract situation. It was the end of his contract. They didn't want to pay him the big money. The Lions didn't want to pay him. The Eagles said, we'll trade away a 4th-rounder and roll with him for 1 year. That's kind of an all-in deal. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of what you do. And so that's, in my opinion, I don't know if he's the guy you want to go after. I'd rather go trade for Eric Kendricks on draft day and give up a 4th-rounder for the linebacker for Zimmer. But DeAndre Swift is a name that now is a free agent, and he's looking for big money. But, the running back numbers have gone down, and if the Cowboys want to get back at the rivals in a way, or you get someone like DeAndre Swift, who spent last year playing for the Eagles. The Eagles acquired him in a 2023 draft day trade with the Lions. In his 1 year with the Eagles, he eclipsed the 1,000-yard mark. He had 1,049 rushing yards and 5 touchdowns. The first time he ever did that in his career, by the way. And if you remember him, guys, again, he's a very good, shifty running back. Kind of a little bit more Tony Pollard-like, I think, than a bulldozer kind of guy. But he is a former, he's also a very good receiving running back. So he's slick, smooth, and he's a good receiver. Former Georgia Bulldog running back, has a career receiving total in the NFL of 193 catches for 1,412 yards, receiving and 8 touchdowns. He also caught 40 or more passes in 3 of his first 4 seasons and has racked up 350-plus receiving yards in that same span of games, 4 years or so, right? 4 or 5 years. Anyways, as a running back, he's 5'9", 215 pounds. And again, doesn't have the physicality that A.J. Dillon had. That's why I still prefer A.J. Dillon over DeAndre Swift. But A.J. Dillon's not swift. He's not shifty. He's not weaving back and forth like DeAndre Swift does. He's very swift at doing that, get it? So, again, there's differences there about weaving through traffic, which is more of a Pollard tactic. A.J. Dillon's more of a power guy, like a Derrick Henry, let's say. So before last year, Swift was never considered as a kind of horse, a
Dark
bell
horse?
cow,
Okay.
type running back,
Sorry, I
right?
wasn't sure what word you were looking
Yeah,
for.
a workhorse back, So it was a lot of this comes because he split carries when he was with the Lions, so he really wasn't that one bell cow kind of guy. But again, that changed last year. Former second rounder had 8 games with 15 or more carries in 2023. So DeAndre Swift can handle the light load that McCarthy might give him in the run game. Now, I put him at the bottom of the list here when it comes to all these guys because I still am a big believer in 2 things here. When it comes to the Cowboys and the clown show, even with Rico Dowdle being a free agent, we can sign back. Even with, Tony Pollard, who can come back to the Cowboys. To me, the clown show, whether you agree or disagree, and I actually agree with them on this, you do not overspend for Saquon Barkley. His injury concerns. You do not overspend for any running back like Josh Jacobs, who's fantastic, but not worth the money. I think the way the Cowboys use the running back spot, that's another thing. So you look at guys at $4.5 million and less, and then you start making some sense. Derrick Henry, power back. You got to get a compliment in there. I mean, Rico Dowdle, someone shifty back. I don't know. Dowdle's kind of a power back too, but Henry's our power back if we bring him in. For $4.3 million, one of the best there. Zach Moss, also for about the same price as Derrick Henry, a little younger, right? About the same. But to me, he can do all the things you need him to do: block, pass, run. Block, catch, run, whatever it is. Same thing as with A.J. Dillon, who's very physical. The most physical after Derrick Henry on this list when it comes to the guys that are more attainable in the under $4.5 million range. So A.J. Dillon to me is a definite. I would be happy with A.J. Dillon. And then who do we bring in as the second running back? Right? Would it be a rookie? Would it be Rico Dowdle? I don't know. But and DeAndre Swift is kind of like I'd be least happy about him. But we get him for a good deal. He can create some issues. He can maybe be an upgrade to a Tony Pollard, right? But I still say we got to bring in a bruising back if you bring in someone like DeAndre Swift. So, baby, what do you think about this list that I just came up with here? I want to know what the chat thinks as well. So what's your thoughts on any of these running backs as far as your... I'm saying about your thoughts.
I had kind of already given my thoughts as far as the ones that I would have preferred, but I did want to hit up the chat just because you guys are...
For sure. We're wrapping it up, guys. Get your last thoughts in now. Drops of love, whatever. We're calling it a night here. I told you it was a quickie. I told you.
Mike Aldana said, Stephen Jones disappoints me with that admission, not knowing who Swift was. Yeah, and it's more disappointing to me that, again, like the process, right? Like, fine, you don't know. You don't even think to mention it to anybody that they called and did this, because I'm sure someone in the building would have known who Swift was and could have taken swift action.
Everybody in the building knew who Swift was except for Stephen Jones, and he didn't say a word. Detroit called back 5 minutes later, said, "We doing this?" Stephen Jones said no and hung up, never told a soul.
Now I bet you if you call and say Swift, they're going to say Taylor?
Yeah. Now it's Taylor Swift for Stephen Jones. He don't know any other Swift.
So, let me see. Seabass also asking, didn't D Swift diss the Cowboys with the number 0 and something related?
I don't know if it was. I don't think it was number 0, but he did diss the Cowboys, as every Philly player will try to do. That's another reason why it kind of stains my thoughts about him. But he just doesn't fit, I think, what the Cowboys would want to do with him if he's your number 1 guy. I think they'd rather draft a guy like that and get a power guy in free agency, which would be a Derrick Henry, A.J. Dillon type,
Yeah, Mike said, Swift isn't an every down running back.
His career in Detroit, he was not. This year with the Eagles was his most every down type of performance, but he did slow down as the season kept going, right? Maybe he got worked too much because he couldn't handle it. Who knows? He had 8 games with 15 carries or more. So his biggest year like that.
Matt Batten said, draft a power back in the draft.
Well, again, that would depend on the quality. To me, there's the guys that are up there at the top of the running back board are not really meant for power backs as much, but I'm not even sure. They're basically the top running backs in this draft are in the 3rd round. Those are the first time the running backs get drafted in this draft. You got Frank Gore Jr. in the 5th and 6th round. If you want to wait for him, it's deeper on the back end, but not deep on the day 1 and 2. There's no running backs really worth taking. So to me, anybody you get's got to be I don't want to say a project, but it's got to be somebody who is not going to get full workhorse type snaps. We need another guy doing that. I think that's why you get someone like Derrick Henry or A.J. Dillon or Zach Moss. Just throwing out the 3 names that I'm kind of favoring for me.
So, with that said, though, guys, take a second, hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, follow us anywhere and everywhere at My Cowboys Family. Hop in the Discord, link for that's in the description box down below. And of course, there's some people we have to shout out before I do the shout out.
You know it. Chat, the guy that we must shout out a lot of love for, McLovin, sponsor of the week, back to back like our 90s Cowboys. He's got that above right there. He's got that Cash App crown for 3 weeks in a row. And currently, baby, he is, even with Mr. Seabass's second biggest drop of the year so far, I will say, from Mr. Seabass tonight in the over everything level. He's in second place because McLovin is in first on the overall board. I know Jason Renfro dropped some Cash App, but he's fifth on the Cash App. McLovin's first on the Cash App board again, so he's looking for a whole month of domination on the Cash App side and a three-peat on the very difficult sponsor of the week board. So we'll see what happens on that side of things. But much love once again to McLovin. And of course to Dwayne Broussard, the top dog, who's somehow hanging on. 71 points still on the stream boss, barely losing a beat there. I think he's in the same spot he was when we got on stream. So I appreciate you, Dwayne Broussard, repping that side of things right now. Now, the last part of things is the gifted memberships, which has been at a standstill. No one's gifted a membership on this channel in like a week and a half. And we have a tie for first place, so it's still trying to break a tie between the Lunatic with 5 gifted memberships
and JD from DC
with 5 gifted memberships. So whoever gets the 6 wins. Either guy drops that 6th membership gifted to someone, they win. They'll be on the board the rest of this week and next week. But then you also, the rest of this week. And then you have guys like Skeptical Fan, who's got 4 gifted memberships given out. 2 gifted memberships. If he drops 4 more, he wins. And anybody who is able to give memberships, if that means if you're in any level of the membership, you can gift memberships as well. If anybody out there gifts 6 memberships, then they will be the champions. Of course, I do want to remind everybody, after saying all this, that there is a fantastic star level raffle coming up, star and over everything raffle coming up and sometime in the middle of this week here. So stay tuned. Now we have a star and an over everything level member with Seabass. So much love to those guys that they're, now Seabass is officially in this raffle here. It's coming up in a couple of days. You just got to get in the membership in the star level or over everything level portion of the thing. But there's one other way now. If you're one of the big weekly winner here, sponsor of the week, I know we have a lot of things like the Cash App and the gifting crown, but weekly winners will get a bonus entry into, starting in March now, not this month, but starting next month. The winner this week will be also put into the raffle. And if you win 4 weeks in a row, you get 4 raffle entries. You up your chances because that's part of being a sponsor. You're the sponsor of the week. You got to be part of the biggest prizes we got here given away in these raffles. So appreciate you guys in the star level. Thank you, Seabass, in the over everything level. And hey, this week we'll see who wins this week because that person will also have a name in the March raffle here in MCF. Just wanted to bring that up there, baby. And the different ways to drop the love to get into this thing. You know how to do it. Yeah, we all know how. Anyways, and the Tony Pollard discussion, I think Tony Pollard running backs discussion, I think we kind of covered all bases. If you're watching this on the replay, please let me know. Let us know. And type in the comments down below on what you think about these choices that I kind of brought to you guys' attention, and who would you want most, and what's the most realistic choices. A lot of different things we can break down here when it comes to our running back situation and our running back room for the Dallas Cowboys heading into 2024. So, baby, it's time for those nightly shout-outs. As we shout out everybody else on that's the leaderboard here and the whole deal. Much love to those that are on the board at all here. Sco971, Smokey, Skeptical Fan, Dwayne Broussard, Jason Renfro, Seabass over everything, and McLovin, the current champion. All you guys dropping the love here on a Sunday night to Monday night. Appreciate you all as we kick off a new week. And let's do the shout-outs, maybe, I guess. And I don't know if we've done that yet, but let's hit them up.
We have Seabass, much love. Asmodeus, take it easy. Even you, Lee Side Herald. 24/7 Cowboy, thanks for being here. Matt Batten, have a great night. Lost in Translation Podcast, take it easy. Mike Aldana, much love. Let me see. Kelvin Hicks, have a good night. Choctaw, Montana 808, representing. Bruce got the toxic juice. Yes, you have to emphasize the GL in Glass Eater, or you sound like a millennial.
He says an ass.
Like, well, let's keep that out of my generation's mouth.
Hey, baby.
That's not. Oh man, can't eat at everybody's house, I guess. Rolling back a little bit more. Ken, please. Let me see. Fuego bringing the heat. Revelation journalist. Have a good night. Let me see. Who else is here? Firefighting responder.
Yeah, hey, first responders.
Bruce got the toxic juice. Let me see. I'm just trying to go back as far as I can. Drums the Cowboys have a good one.
Covered all bases.
But yeah, that's as far back as I can go.
Freedom
come
First
back down.
Was first. I know that. I don't know if he's in the house
MCF
anymore.
After Dark. Who's that?
I don't know. He's watching.
So
always watching. That After
so
Dark
I know,
guy.
good. Again, Montana. Like I said, we're not just always football, though we are obviously 99.9% football.
Yeah, and it was it turned into a chat as it's titled, but it is shown as a quickie. It was a little over an hour tonight, but we wanted to focus. So we focused on linebackers. Now we're focused on the linebackers of the offense, which is the running backs, right? The two spots we kind of need the most, I think, right now, at least at first glance, depth-wise. You know what I'm thinking of course, the trenches and the defensive tackle spot in nose tackle. That's what I'm looking at. But, what is it, Grover Stewart? That's the kind of guy I'm looking for. That's the big money. Got free agents. Maybe we'll do that as the next kind of, when it's a kind of a slower night, we'll bring in the defensive tackles that are possibilities in free agency. Because remember, guys, before the draft, it's free agency. So that's why we're doing it this way. The draft, we say things here and there, but this is about free agency. This comes first. Our own guys. That's why I've spoken about, Tyron Smith and Gilmore, but now I'm also, mentioning the Pollard possibilities, I guess. But the reality is, Cowboys want to spend less money this year, and we gave you guys two high-priced guys, Pollard, who's a repeat guy, and then four guys that I think are running in the price range of the Joneses, and it'd be a very solid pickup for our Cowboys. And again, with a rookie, with a Rico Dowdle. Let us know what you think, guys. Again, we like doing these quickies when there's not much news, so we can break down the most important deficiencies of our team. Mm-hmm. So we got through the linebackers a little bit last week. Now we got the running backs out the way, and we'll keep doing this specifically for free agency. There's not draft, there's not trades. It's specifically free agency, but we always will touch on the other options out there. We hope you guys enjoyed this show. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, and all that good stuff. If you're watching on replay, comment down below, and baby, let everybody know why we do this each and every night here on My Cowboys Family.
It's that navy blue, that silver too, and that star over everything.
Win, lose, or draw, good, bad, or ugly, right here you see us repping it. That star, always over everything. Guys, 6.5 years plus on YouTube, on here, displaying My Cowboys Family. Whether you're old school or new school, appreciate you all. Part of the family, 34,000 and beyond. And baby, as always here, the number one thing here now and forever, as always. Never forget, the number one thing right here in this channel. Say it with us, say it loud, and say it proud. Go Cowboys. Let's get that 6 and beyond. And thank you guys for for chilling with us as we wrap it up. I see Juan Carlos in the house dropping them stars. What's going on.
Yes, and thank you so much again, Seabass. Always appreciate you, and it is always nice to be able to come here on MCF and talk to other people who care about the Cowboys just as much as we do. We
truly do bleed that silver blue. That silver, that navy blue, and those stars. That's what we do here. And you guys, we can relate. The 40, 50 people in the house every night. We appreciate you guys checking in. Even on the late nights here, the West Coast, wherever you're at, Hawaii. We got people all over worldwide. That's what the star's about. Thank you all for dropping your knowledge, your thoughts on our Cowboys. Extra special thanks to Mr. Seabass, who's in the OE level. He's the over everything level. Back at it. Appreciate him. And everybody else in the house dropping their thoughts, their knowledge. Mr. After Dark, Matt Batten, Juan Carlos, Chalked on Montana 808, everybody. Thank you for joining us here again for another one. Dropping the knowledge. Again, thank you and very honored, very lucky to have such great fans. So thanks for the drops of love from above. Tomorrow we are not going to be on here, guys, unless something major happens for the Cowboys or our schedule gets shifted around. Probably not going to have an MCF tomorrow. But Wednesday we're back at it and give you 2 nights two days of full updates on our Cowboys, what's brewing, what's going on. Unless there's some kind of, major breaking news, and we'll go live for a quickie or something tomorrow and talk about it. Outside of that, we'll see you on Wednesday, baby, as we clock out and drop out of here for the night, relock and reload for a show in about 2 days from now on Wednesday night. Tell everybody what we got to do before we drop out of here tonight.
We got to drop the beat.
Oh, yeah. That beat's been dropped. It's a wrap right here on My Cowboys Family. It was supposed to be a quickie, turned into a chat. Either way, it's a quickie chat right here as we wrap up another night here. Kicking off a new week, but wrapping up a whole other night here on My Cowboys Family, right here in MCF. We talked about the running backs. No tag for Pollard. He's probably gone. You got other question marks. So you go on high value there in Saquon and Josh Jacobs. You're going to go in that Derrick Henry and below value side. I don't know, McCarthy, it's your offense. Fix your eyes and then fix the running back position and fix the running back situation going forward. Here in MCF, it's always about that navy blue, that silver too. Always about that star over everything. Never forget the number one thing right here, My Cowboys Family. Much love to everyone in the house, even the enemies, even the haters. Appreciate you all. Again, don't forget, hit the like button for the stream. It helps the analytics. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Keep growing the channel 34,000 and beyond. And don't forget to move that notification bell. Hit it on to all videos so you know when we're going live. You can also check what we're doing and when we're going live through social media at My Cowboys Family, Twitter, X, and all that stuff. Discord as well. Jump in there. It's football free and fun. 24/7, 366 this year. And guys, we'll see you back here on Wednesday. Have a great night. Stay safe. Peace out. And never, ever dare forget, yeah, Cowboys!
Monk on the beat.